So at long last, the Supreme Court's decision on Trump's immunity claims has arrived, and so this is from NPR. If I can find the right tab, there we go. Supreme Court says Trump has absolute immunity for core acts only. U.S. Supreme Court, in a 6-3 decision along ideological lines, ruled that a former president has absolute immunity for his core constitutional powers and is entitled to a presumption of immunity for his official acts, but lacks immunity for unofficial acts. But at the same time, the court sent the case back to the trial judge to determine which, if any, of former President Donald Trump's actions were part of his official duties and thus were protected from prosecution. That part of the court's decision likely ensures that the case against Trump won't be tried before the election, and then only if he is not reelected. If he is reelected, Trump could order the Justice Department to drop the charges against him, or he might try to pardon himself in the two pending federal cases. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote the court's decision, joined by his fellow conservatives. Dissenting were the three liberals, Justice Elena Kagan, Sonia Sotomayor, and Ketanji Brown Jackson. Roberts acknowledged that the case was unprecedented. No court has thus far considered how to distinguish between official and unofficial acts, he wrote while chiding the lower courts for rendering their decisions on a highly expedited basis. He said the lower courts did not analyze the conduct alleged in the indictment to decide which of it should be categorized as official and which unofficial. Certain allegations, such as those involving Trump's discussions with acting attorney general, are readily categorized in light of the nature of the president's official relationship to the office held by that individual, Roberts wrote. In other words, Trump is absolutely immune from prosecution for the alleged conduct involving his discussions with Justice Department officials. In her dissent, Justice Sonia Sotomayor wrote that the majority, in effect, completely insulates presidents from criminal liability. Today's decision to grant former presidents criminal immunity reshaped the institution of the presidency. It makes a mockery of the principle, foundational to a constitution and system of government, that no man is above the law, she wrote, relying on little more than its own misguided wisdom about the need for bold and unhesitating action by the president. The court gives former President Trump all the immunity he asked for and more. So, I'm kind of split-minded by this decision, and to some extent it seems like the court is talking out of both sides of its mouth. On the one hand, they're not saying the president is totally immune from criminal prosecution in every case. At the same time, they're carving out a space where presidents have, an extremely high degree of immunity and a latitude in their actions that, the average citizen does not. I suspect this will help Trump in the end, which is why I'm split-minded about it. I mean, I'd like to think maybe there's a way for Judge Chutkan and Jack Smith and the people involved in these cases against Trump. I'd like to think there might be a way for them to to label the things he did as unofficial actions, because trying to overturn an election, I don't think is in the president's constitutional duties. For example, you're supposed to uphold the Constitution, and you would think that one of the official duties of the president, therefore, is to, or you'd think that a president should cooperate in a peaceful transition of power because, they're a servant of the Constitution or whatever. But I'm very afraid that this really gives Trump the help that he needs I mean, it doesn't make the cases disappear. I can't snap. There we go. But it does, well, it delays things, as the article mentions, which, as I've already said before, is an issue because he could pardon himself. He could ask the Department of Justice to throw out these charges. Maybe the state cases could still hold in that case, but that would be a terrible, terrible situation. Also, what is the distinction between official and unofficial acts as president? I don't think that's clear. As Robert said, that wasn't really delineated previously. And it's frustrating in a way because it's kind of laying down explicitly what's already sort of implicitly been a thing, which is you can't criminally prosecute presidents, and presidents have gotten away with a lot over the years, and so it's like the wool is no longer over our eyes. The curtain's being pulled, and we see that the job itself as president allows you so much leeway in your actions, whether or not they conform with national or international law. Again, the question is, how will that come down in Trump's case? And yeah, I'm not optimistic. I mean, I'm doubtful. I'm doubtful he's going to get out of this without at least another felony charge or so. But as to which ones that'll be, I don't know. But we're sort of he's running the clock out on it, and that's the scary thing. But yeah, so Supreme Court L, once again, handing out down a decision that will probably help Trump in the long run, at least delay any criminal charges, which could save him in the end.